Polestar for Review 2025, this or an electric Porsche Macan. This is the Polestar 4, the most futuristic car yet from the Volvo offshoot. It's a sleek, modish coupe electric SUV thing that's ambitiously targeting the Porsche Macan Electric, Kia EV6 GT, and Tesla Model Y. Not exactly the easiest competition, but it has one or two tricks up its well-designed sleeve. You'll have heard all about its most distinctive feature, the lack of a rear window, but there's far more to this car than that. For a start, there's the rest of the cabin, which features a super minimalist design and the Google HMI system everything runs on. Sitting between the 2 and the 3 in terms of size, confusing we know. The Polestar 4 is a captivating option for those looking for an electric SUV. But is it a good one to find? We've driven the 4 at length. We're also running one as a long-termer right now. So the impressions here come with thousands of miles of experience with the car. Should I buy a Polestar 4? Not yet. Although it benefits from class-leading design and impressive handling especially. If you get the performance pack, there are simply too many bugs to fully recommend it. At a glance pros, pleasing interior, comfortable ride, good range, punchy performance icons. Macan is more fun, small boot. Tech and frustrate what's new. The 4 is one of the most futuristic-looking cars you can buy right now. It also represents the biggest stylistic break yet from parent company Volvo. That's no bad thing, though, because the 4 is a fantastic-looking car. Larger than you'd expect in person, it's got sci-fi looks, especially at the rear. And it's a similar story inside, too, of course. Pretty much everything is new to Polestar, although much is shared with other cars in the Geely group. That includes the C component set that also underpins the far cheaper Volvo X30 and Smart Number 1. Neither are bad cars, but they're almost half the price of the Polestar, which competes with the new all-electric Porsche Macan and Audi Q6 e-tron on their fancy PPE platform. What are the specs? The Polestar 4 uses a 100 kilowatt-hours battery pack, 90 for kilowatt-hours of which is usable. A 400-volt architecture, 800-volt cars do exist on the C platform. Polestar reckons an upgrade within the 4's lifespan isn't beyond the realms of possibility and offers a fast charging capacity of 200 kilowatts, 70 kilowatts down on the Macan. Geely is no stranger to burning early customers. For example, the Volvo EX90 SUV first arrived with 400-volt circuitry, but my update will soon see it adopt 800-volt tech, like the ES90 Saloon that follows it. That's got to be disconcerting for Polestar early dash adopters. Two versions of the 4 are offered. The long-range single-motor, the car for which you'll see specs here, priced from £59,990, gets you to 168 bhp to 153 pounds-feet, 0 to 60 to miles per hour in 7. 1 sec, and an official range figure of 379 miles. The 66 pounds. 990 long-range dual motor adds a second identical motor to the front axle to high peak output to 536 bhp and all but have the 0 to 60 to miles per hour time to 3.8 sec, to the detriment of the official WLTP range figure, which drops to still respectable 360 miles. For context, the new Macan Electric splits the 2 for south on performance 5. 2 sec 0 to 60 to miles per hour and 3.8 to bhp. With a base price, £69,800, more expensive than both, thanks to its rampant price cuts, the Tesla Model Y performance. currently costs the same as single motor for while offering the same speed as the dual motor. Unlike on the 2, the Performance Pack doesn't add any extra punch from the For South powertrain. Instead, it's more about handling and confuses on the wheels, tires, and brakes. How does it drive? Get moving with the Polestar 4 and you may be pleasantly surprised. The steering is heft without being heavy and responds quickly without being nervous. While the brakes blend regen and friction well, even big names like Mercedes struggle with that. The 4 strikes a good balance between ride and handling despite relatively simple suspension, too. You'll not find any air springs. Anti-roll tech or 4-wheel steering on any Polestar 4. There is an underlying firmness to the way it deals with surface imperfections, yet it's never jarring or uncomfortable. It's also entirely forgivable given how good body control is and how little roll you experience. Apparently, the 4's center of gravity is closer to the ground than the far lower Polestar 1. And I can believe it. Numbers suggest the 4 will feel a bit sluggish compared to other EVs. The reality is that the single motor is more than quick enough, feeling stronger once it's rolling than the 0 to 60 miles per hour time would have you believe. Switch the ESC to Sport, and it's certainly enough to enjoy the rear-wheel drive layout and plentiful EV torque. You're very aware the ESC is there should things get too rough or sideways. But keep it smooth and fun can be had. Guiding the 4 at speed-through roads is an enjoyable experience. And while there's not masses of feel filtering through the control surfaces, it's a satisfying thing to hustle along, and its relatively compact dimensions lend confidence. On narrow beat-dash roads. In contrast, the Performance Pack is very clearly a quick car, and makes that very clear from the get-go. Where the single motor felt Fiesta street fast, the PP hits you like an RS3 on full launch control. No, it's not as rapid as a Macan Turbo or other SUVs we could mention. But it's not often you can fully uncork it, and even then not for long dotted. Delivers power in a super clean and linear way. So in many ways, it's the epitome of electric cars. It's almost too immediate with the powertrain performance mode. And we found ourselves using the duller range mode more often. Out the box, its regeneration is remarkable aggressive too. When combined with the powerful Brembos, you'll find yourself jerking back and forward until your brain recalibrates. Our tip, stick it in medium to low regen and eke out the range with thriftier modes. Unlike Polestar's performance packs of old that require spanners to adjust the ride quality, the forgets active dampers. They are able to constantly adjust damping force, and their stiffness can be adjusted via the infotainment. With the suppressed mode no tougher than the regular single motor, the mid-setting provides slightly brighter responses with full firm still. Usable on the road, grip levels are higher and roll angles lower. But it feels a little more two-dimensional than the single motor. The dual motors are most interested in keeping things locked down and neutral with none of the playfulness of a Macan Turbo. It's an effective point-to-point machine, if not a very thrilling one. Dialing down to the motorway, and the Polestar for hunkers down to a relaxed cruise, with just a little wind noise to interrupt the calm. The seating position and forward visibility are good. The seat massager is excellent, and at UK speeds at least. The range doesn't get dented by constant speed running. There are some key issues, though. The autonomous driving aids can be a little too intrusive at times, with the Polestar 4's AEB often braking automatically when driving down narrow roads with parked cars. Not ideal for me, my passengers, nor the cars behind. What's more, the auto speed detection tends to be wrong quite a lot of the time, often clearly picking speeds up and confusing itself. Speed limits such as 37 miles per hour and 18 miles per hour occasionally pop up. What's it like inside? Up front, Polestar's trademark. Minimalism translates into a stylish, comfortable space with none of the cramped coziness that affects these smaller two. It's like sitting in a high-end Scandinavian living room with clean lines, fabrics, and displays. You sit in slim sports seats, a 3-spoke wheel with a neat center marker, tellingly, and two portrait screens, a driver's display, and a bigger, portrait-orientated touchscreen. While the latter controls almost everything, there's still a media on, off volume knob between the seats, stalks behind the wheel, and there are configurable shortcut icons for functions you use regularly. The infotainment system is certainly responsive and looks great, but a few more switches would make this a more user-friendly cabin. Instead, you're forced to use the touchscreen to do many things, from opening the boot and adjusting the mirrors to controlling the glove box and the air conditioning. Voice control is available and accurate, but it's still somewhat alien for a while. Designer Max Missoni wanted a coupe roofline on a package that, thanks to its underfloor battery and need for decent rear passenger headroom, didn't lend itself to the idea. The answer was to move the header rail back behind second-row heads rather than above them, to create decent headroom beneath the supersonic ROOFLI any dot, of course. The Volvo ES90 has since arrived and appears to achieve roughly the same aims whilst also giving us a rear window. But we'll reserve judgment until we've driven it. Climb into the back, and it's roomy in the extreme as you'd hope given the 2,999 millimeters wheelbase, and for 0.8 meters overall length. Headroom is fine for 6-footers. Tighter if you're taller. The interior design is quirky but gorgeous, with a neat wing motif that runs around the front of the cockpit and mirrored behind second-row occupants, making you feel snug and safe and happy. The vast panoramic roof can be optioned with electrochromatic glass, and despite the lack of natural light from behind, there's no sense of claustrophobia thanks to gentle ambient lighting color themes, inspired by the planets of the solar system, are nicely presented on the screen, complete with Polestar show car and space animation. The 4 is the first car to use Gentex's next-gen digital rear-view mirror, drawing a feed from a 5MP camera high on the trailing edge of the roof, to do what a piece of reflective glass no longer can thanks to the lack of rear glazing. It's the best implementation of the tech yet. But older drivers especially will struggle to quickly focus on its contents during longer drives. The tech doesn't always work though. Sometimes the car will let you in. Sometimes you'll need to tap the key on the B pillar to enter. Sometimes it'll revert to your user profile when you sit in. Other times it'll revert to the default, crushing you between the wheel and seat until you frantically tap your profile. And yes, that's even with the key configured correctly. Technology is cool, but only if it improves upon the systems it replaces. Right now, in the Polestar 4, that's not the case. Polestar 4. For Dick, there's no doubt the Polestar 4 is the best utilization of Geely's C platform. Its pleasing dynamics and usually welcoming interior make it an appealing entry into the premium SUV class, whether you like the windowless rear or not. It cuts quite a dash in the car park without screaming "look at me," and its calm Swedish design. Interior is an absolute delight to spend time in. However, The Macan Turbo is unquestionably a better drivers than either the single or twin-motor Polestar 4. If you're comfortable with that and are happy to take the Polestar, then we recommend keeping it simple, as fast and capable as the dual-motor performance pack is. We had more fun at a lower speed in the single motor. What's more, the Polestar 4 is teeming with low-level glitches and tech grumbles, which makes it impossible to recommend in its current form. Our long-termer is temperamental, with many of its features simply unreliable or unpredictable at best. It's a shame, because the Polestar 4 is fundamentally an impressive car.